There is a reason your heart races when someone steps into your personal space, especially when it is a woman standing just a little too close. It feels flattering, maybe even exciting, but behind that closeness hides a silent code that most men fail to read. Psychologists call it proxemics, the study of how distance speaks louder than words. A woman does not need to confess her thoughts when her body is already telling the story. That single step closer can be an invitation, or it can be a test. Sometimes it shows comfort, sometimes desire, and sometimes, something much darker, control. Men often mistake this closeness as harmless or playful. But what if it is more? What if standing too close is not just a sign of attraction, but also a subtle way of testing your boundaries, reading your reactions, or even manipulating you without a word? Today, we are going to decode this hidden language. By the end, you will never look at physical closeness the same way again. Before we dive in, subscribe and stay with me till the end, because each chapter will peel away another layer of this psychological game, the psychology of personal space. Every human being carries an invisible bubble around them. You may not see it, but you feel it the moment someone steps inside. That bubble is called personal space, and it is more powerful than most people realize. Think about it, when a stranger stands too close to you in an elevator, you instantly feel uncomfortable. Your body stiffens, your heart rate jumps. You may even take a step back without thinking. Why? Because your mind feels that your safety is being tested. Psychologists have measured this invisible zone. On average, most people keep strangers at about 2 to 4 feet away. That is the safe zone. Friends or family may move a little closer, but when someone crosses that invisible line without permission, your brain reacts as if it is a warning. Now here is where it gets interesting. When a woman chooses to stand closer to a man than she needs to, it is rarely random. The human brain is wired to protect distance, so when distance is reduced, it means one of two things: attraction or strategy. Attraction is the obvious one. When a woman feels drawn to someone, she unconsciously moves closer. It could be leaning in during conversation, brushing past his arm, or standing close enough that their shoulders almost touch. Her brain is saying, "I feel safe here, I want to be near you." But the second reason is far more complicated. Sometimes closeness is not about desire, it is about control. Standing close can be a test. It forces the man into a decision: does he step back, hold his ground, or move closer in return? Each choice reveals something about his confidence and boundaries. This is why personal space is so important in dark psychology. It is not just about comfort, it is about power. Whoever controls the distance controls the interaction. Men often underestimate how much women notice this. A small step forward, a slight lean, a soft touch, these are not accidents. They are part of a silent conversation happening beneath the surface. So, when a woman stands too close, the question you should ask is not, "Why here?" but, "Why now?" Was the space crowded, leaving no choice? Or was it a deliberate move to enter your bubble? Because once you understand personal space, you start to realize that no move is ever meaningless. When comfort turns into closeness, closeness does not happen overnight. It begins slowly, in ways so small that most men never notice. A laugh that leans forward, a hand resting on the table just a little closer than before, the way her body angles toward his instead of away. These are not random detail. They are signals of comfort, signals that can easily slip into intimacy. Psychologists call this proxemics, the study of how people use space. But in real life, it is much simpler. When someone feels safe with you, they let you closer. The body relaxes, the guard drops. Distance shrinks. Think about it. If a woman keeps her phone pressed to her chest, avoids leaning in, or keeps a bag between her and a man, her body is saying, "Stay away." But when the walls fall, the signs are hard to ignore. Her bag is no longer a barrier, it is placed to the side. Her arms are open, not crossed. She does not pull away when the distance shortens. The darker side of this is that comfort can blur the line between friendliness and attraction. A woman may not even realize how close she is standing until someone points it out, but her body knows before her mind does. The body reacts to chemistry first, and only later does the mind try to explain it. Some men confuse this comfort for clear romantic interest. That is where mistakes happen. Just because a woman feels safe does not always mean she is in love. Sometimes it simply means she trusts the man enough not to fear closeness. The danger is in assuming more than what is truly there. But there are moments when comfort becomes deliberate. A woman may move in closer just to see how the man reacts. Will he freeze? Will he step back? Or will he take it as a silent invitation to cross the same distance? These tests are subtle, yet powerful. They reveal hidden truths about attraction, confidence, and control. In dark psychology, we see this as an unspoken negotiation. Every step forward into personal space is a question, and every reaction is an answer. So the real lesson here is simple: closeness never arrives without meaning. Whether it is a spark of trust, a sign of desire, or a quiet test of boundaries, the space between two people is never neutral. It always speaks. Hidden intentions behind closeness. When a woman stands too close to a man, it is rarely without reason. The body is not random, it follows emotions and hidden desires. But here is the disturbing truth: closeness can mean very different things depending on the mind behind it. Sometimes it is simple attraction. Her body leans forward because her mind is drawn in. The eyes follow him longer than needed. The distance shrinks because she wants to feel his presence. This is the most obvious case, the one most men expect. But not every closeness is born from desire. Sometimes it comes from power. In psychology, there is a term, territorial control. When a person stands close, they invade the space to test dominance. A woman may lean in during a heated talk not because she likes the man, but because she wants him to feel small, trapped, or overwhelmed. What looks like warmth can also be pressure. Then there is manipulation. Some women know exactly what closeness does to a man's brain. Studies show that physical nearness increases trust, lowers defense, and makes a person more likely to agree. In darker terms, standing close can be a weapon. It can soften his resistance, blur his thinking, and lead him to choices he would not normally make. There are also hidden comparisons. If she only stands close to one man in a group, it is not just about space, it is about highlighting who she favors. This can create silent tension, jealousy, or even rivalry without a single word spoken. And then there is the most unsettling layer, mixed signals. Sometimes a woman is not fully aware of why she steps closer. Her emotions may be confused, torn between safety, attraction, and curiosity. Yet her body moves before her mind sorts it out. This is where men often misread intentions, and where the deepest misunderstandings begin. The point is simple: closeness always has an intention. It could be desire, comfort, control, manipulation, or confusion, but it is never empty. To understand the truth, one must not only see the distance but also the eyes, the tone of voice, and the tension in her body. All these pieces combine to reveal the hidden meaning. In dark psychology, space is never just space, it is communication. A woman's decision to close that gap says more than her words ever could. Case studies. Real-life example. To see how powerful closeness can be, let's look at real scenarios. These stories show how standing too close is never innocent, it always hides a message. Case 1, the office confusion. A man worked with a woman who often stepped into his personal space. At first, he thought she liked him. She laughed more when near him, leaned close while showing documents, and brushed his arm by accident. But the truth was different. She later admitted she used closeness as a way to gain influence. By making him feel chosen and special, she softened his resistance whenever she needed help on projects. Her goal was not romance, but control. The man only realized later that he had been manipulated through simple proximity. Case 2, the silent competition. At a party, a woman stood much closer to one man while speaking, even though others were around. She leaned in, whispering, while keeping physical distance from the rest. Her choice created silent waves. Other women in the group felt ignored. One man became visibly jealous. Without a word, her closeness triggered rivalry. This shows how standing close can change group dynamics and stir emotions more than any spoken sentence. Case 3, the fake comfort. A young man felt down after a breakup. A woman friend often stood close to him, even touching his shoulder when speaking. He thought it was support. But soon, she began asking favors, rides, money, and emotional energy. Her closeness was not about care, but about building dependency. She made him feel safe first, then used that safety to pull him deeper into her needs. This is a classic case of manipulation masked as comfort. Case 4, the unexpected fear. Not all closeness feels good. A man described how a woman at work would lean too close during arguments. Instead of attraction, her body language was meant to intimidate. He later learned this is a tactic of dominance, invading personal space to push someone into silence. It shows that not every woman standing close is signaling desire. Sometimes it is a weapon of power. These examples reveal one thing: closeness is never neutral. Whether it sparks desire, jealousy, manipulation, or fear, it always carries weight. The body becomes a tool, and distance becomes a message. The man who ignores this message risks being controlled, misled, or left in confusion. When you see someone stand too close, ask yourself, what is their true intention? Look at the bigger picture, the timing, the body tension, the eyes. Closeness alone never tells the full story, but it always tells part of it. Recognizing the signs and protecting yourself. When a woman stands too close, the first mistake many men make is jumping to conclusions. Some believe it always means attraction, others dismiss it as nothing. Both can be dangerous. To protect yourself, you must learn to read the small details around the closeness. Look at the eyes. If she is standing close but avoids real eye contact, it may not be about desire, it could be manipulation or intimidation. True interest usually shows in how her eyes soften, or how long she holds your gaze. Empty eyes with forced closeness are a red flag. Notice the timing. Does she only move close when she wants something, help, attention, or a favor? Then the closeness is a tool, not a signal of interest. But if it happens in unplanned moments, like during casual talk, it may show genuine attraction. Check the body tension. Closeness with stiff shoulders, crossed arms, or fake smiles is not intimacy, it is pressure. But relaxed posture, a tilted head, or playful gestures can mean comfort. Watch for pattern. One moment of standing close means little, but repeated actions, leaning into your space, brushing past you, lowering her voice near you, build a pattern. And patterns reveal the truth. Protecting yourself does not mean becoming paranoid. It means staying aware. When you ignore the signs, you risk being used, whether emotionally, socially, or even professionally. At the same time, when you overthink every step, you destroy natural connections. The balance is in quiet observation. If you feel someone's closeness makes you uneasy, trust that instinct. Distance is a boundary, and when it is crossed, your body reacts before your mind does. That discomfort is a warning not to dismiss. But if the closeness feels warm, consistent, and natural, then you may have uncovered genuine attraction. The difference is subtle, but once you learn to see it, you cannot unsee it. In the end, space is not just physical, it is psychological. The moment someone enters it, you must decide whether to welcome them in or push them back. That choice shapes the power in the relationship. The man who ignores the hidden meaning of closeness becomes a pawn. The man who learns to read it becomes free.